I've never heard about Spring Heel Jack on TV. I've only read about him in books.
Really?
Yeah.
My dad seems to know a lot about him. Like, he said he was down there, and his time when he was a young boy like this, guy used to show up and he could just leap from the ground right up to, I don't know how many stories, right over the top of buildings like nothing to get away. But
in Chicago?
Yeah,
I've never heard of
Chicago. He was down there in the Capone era and stuff.
I've never heard of Spring Heel Jack in Chicago.
I don't know. My dad was talking about him there, but Northland Ballroom. The story goes that there was a wedding there, and it had one wild. Well, maybe all the girls were wild, but she was supposedly more beautiful and wild than the rest of the girls. And some stranger showed up at this wedding and was dancing with this girl, dressed in real fancy suit. And then people started to notice that there was something wrong with his feet when he was dancing. He didn't have regular feet. He had one was a hoof and another one was a hoof. One was a cow's and one was a horse's. And when people saw that, I don't know what happened. Anyway, the story was that the guy grabbed this girl that he was dancing with, a real beautiful gal. And this must have been on the second story because my mother said they flew out the window, ran right through the window, busted it out like they do in a movie. That nobody ever saw that gal again, whatever her name was, nor the guy with the, I don't know what the bad feet.
How long ago was this supposed to be?
Probably in the 30s.
The 30s?
It was when my mother was a youngster.
The 1930s. Well, wouldn't she actually? She would have had to have been in her own 30s in the 1930s, wouldn't she?
She was born in 1915.
1915.
So in the early 30s, she'd been about that age, 15, 16, 17. But her family talked about it. It was a big thing back then. But maybe it was just a story to keep girls at home from running around and getting devil napped or something. People use all kinds of different measures to make their kids behave. Boogeymans and devil stories. He wore that Stetson hat to cover up his horns. That fork-eared tongue had a tempting charm on him. Yeah. Like Joe Nichols said, it was all in a lot. It was long and lean, and that thing was a fire engine red, and that thing was hot. He fired it up, she waved goodbye. Love's gone to hell, and so have I. Here's to the past, they can kiss my glass. I hope she's happy with him. Here's to the girl who wrecked my world, that angel who did me in. I think the devil drives a coupe de ville. I watched him drive away right over the hill. Not against her will, I've got time to kill down in broken Heartsville. See, so the devil shows up on occasion, whether he's Spring Heel Jack or wearing a Stetson and driving a long red Cadillac, but I don't know no more, son. It's just a tall tale.
That's the whole story that you know?
That's second, third hand, fifth hand, whatever.
And you don't take it too seriously?
Well, I did for a good part of my life, and it was a well-known story around here at that time, so maybe there was something to it, but it gets blown out of proportion. I don't know, but the only thing odd about it would be the hoofs. See, if a guy showed up, but this guy was strikingly handsome, and of course he picked the wildest, most beautiful girl in the crowd, too, to make off with and dance with, and he obviously came there just for her.
Unfortunately, nobody would remember her name.
Oh, back then, there was a name. There was a name. Now, if you had that name, you could probably try to research it. But my mom was long gone. And Grandma Pask, I doubt that she would remember or even know.
How about Nancy?
Unlikely.
No.
If there were any survivors from my mother's, but see, they're all dead. And who knows? I don't know. I'm trying to say I would remember the name even if my mother told me the name. But it was just a story that she told me when I was little, and she was told when she was little. You know, so.
And that was out in Iola.
Yeah, Northland Ballroom. I think Billy Parker got married there. I don't doubt it. I was through that place. Used to drive by it all the time. Never thought nothing much about it except for that story there. Like I say, if there was anything to it, you'd think there'd be something written up in the papers from way back when, or was witnessed by a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
maybe it's an evil place, that Northland Ballroom. You'd think if something like that happened, they would have had a historic monument put up by it. Maybe be closed up or something like those coal mines. Closed up forever. Okay, stop wasting your tape now.
Okay. I got hours of tape, I think.
Well, you better save it for your music.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go take a lot of this and put it...
Officer of the day, you could check the logs. They said it was all documented. How many people were firing weapons. Dozens of people shooting at it, and it didn't seem to affect it at all. It came and it went just on its own. Why it was there, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, that's another one I want to hear you say from the whole story from beginning to end. Well, I've tried to find stuff about this story on the internet, and I don't think I've been able to come up with anything. I wonder why not. So if you could just tell me the whole thing, everything you remember about it.
I told you, I remember I heard it from people that were in the service when I was in the service, about guys that were stationed out to 29 Palms, and they didn't want to, it wasn't a good place because it was a really remote place out in the desert where 10 times worse than Roswell, and spooky things went on there. I think there was more than just that went on there. Because that night, was it that night that the green-eyed monster showed up? Something happened to the MPs by the gate that were guarding the gate, because they said their rifle barrels were twisted around I don't know if the guards were missing either. I don't remember. All I know is there was something to do that a lot of people were firing at this monster that they saw, but there was something mangled the guards' weapons at the gate. Now what it was, if the guards were missing and their weapons were just destroyed or what, I don't know. But all the lights went on in the vehicles in the motor pool. I don't know if they started up or not. And I said that was a creepy thing about it. There was so much lighting that the lights, and this thing was in the middle of all these lights, so everybody that had any live ammo started using it, I guess. Too bad they didn't have a bazooka or two. Blow it out of the water or whatever. But I don't know if that's a good way to treat a alien, like what's that friendly alien on a TV that wanted to go home? E.T. E.T. Yeah, what if this guy was a overgrown E.T. and didn't get a very good welcome? I don't know. What's the right thing to do? Return fire only if you're bleeding. That's the Marine Corps motto. that same one in Iraq, they tell me, so I don't know what to think.
Hmm.
But it's just a story. But this is a true story, because the people who were stationed there said you could check the officer, everything has to be logged. The officer a day keeps a logbook for every day, 24 hours a day, anything and everything that happens on base. The commanding officer, officer of the day, whoever in charge. And they said it's in the logbooks. You could read about it if you get those logbooks. But whatever the OD had to say about it, I don't know who knew about all this. There was some guys that had been stationed there that I imagine it was hearsay too, because somebody knew about it, but I don't know what all happened. But all I know is those barrels, they said the barrels on the rifle, not the ones that were shooting at this thing, but at the gate, which could have been a long way from the actual base. I don't know how far you had to drive in from the MP. They're probably out there quite a ways away from where the actual base is. Maybe and maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. But why would this monster have used the gate anyway? I mean, you know. But they said some of them, how those guns, the rifles got all mangled up like that, just like some super monster took them in his hands and just made nothing bush out of them.
You heard this story when you were in San Diego?
I believe it was San Diego. I don't think it was Camp Pendleton. I believe it was San Diego because people were worried about where they were going to get orders to. And nobody wanted orders to 29 pounds because they said it was kind of like getting sent to hell or something. They said there's too much spooky, creepy crap goes on out there. What all, I don't know. I just heard that one part, but it has a bad rep. So, I don't know, you'd have to look up 29 pounds. Marine Corps base, 29 pounds. Not MCRD, that's Marine Corps Training Depot right next to, they call that Treasure Island or something, the Navy station right next door in San Diego. So, I don't know. It should be, well, see, because it's in the records, well, unless it got deleted somewhere along the line and covered up. But I doubt it. I don't know, all things that are not explained are not necessarily covered up because they think you're crazy. There were too many witnesses there. They said like 80-some people were shooting at this thing. So there was accounts from that many people. So it could have all been bogus, but how come we don't see it on TV? Like you're right, when there's all these strange investigations, how come that thing was never looked? Maybe it was so long ago. Well, it would have had to been in the 60s. In the 60s, something, probably the mid-60s when this happened, I would think. But like I say, I thought they called it a green-eyed monster, the motor pool. That was a story, like green-eyed. But a green-eyed monster, green-eyed aren't very threatening. Red-eyed monsters, but a green-eyed monster, the motor pool. That's where it showed up, at the motor pool, in amongst all the vehicles they had. So, they never did explain how those lights come on. I think they said a lot of them engines actually started up.